We're looking at the Bitcoin chart, which continues to grind higher here. So this is playing out, again, as I've talked about in the game plans. If you've been following these game plans, it's basically been dead on. We've talked about the move above this level. That was the channel. And by the way, notice another channel. Channels are powerful, man. I always find, by the way, just a little side note here, is that when you use things that most people don't use in technical analysis, it works the best. Once everyone starts using it, like if you use moving averages are okay, but they don't work like they used to work because everyone uses moving averages. I mean, you go on social media, everyone's like, oh, we're hitting the 50 MA or what, this golden cross. And it's like 50-50 almost at this point. Use things that most people don't use, which is what I do in these game plans and at Verified Investing, is show you things that most people aren't using that work unbelievably well.
Wait a minute, everyone. We all agree that the crypto market never sleeps, but with countless newsletters out there, how do you choose the best one for you? BitcoinZella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to BitcoinZella today and enjoy the new edge. Let's join Gareth in this video about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Again, what did we talk about? We said resistance would be right up here. We're basically kissing that little bit of resistance. If it breaks through that, we know our next target would be 74,000 approximately. And again, that's that double top high. So you have to, on Bitcoin, we have to get through this level here. That's going to be important. But if we get through this level on a daily closing basis, we should see that 74,000 marker there. Okay. By the way, just one thing to show you. Ben in the trading room showed me this earlier. Again, just shows you that as advanced as I am, sometimes I miss little signals as well. But just notice here, what kind of pattern is this here, folks? Quick quiz question for you guys. What type of pattern was that? Feel like we should play the Jeopardy music or something. But anyways, probably can't. Probably violate a copyright or something. But in any case, you have this. This is called an inverse head and shoulders. It was a bullish pattern right here. And then what ends up happening, there's your breakout right there. If you calculate this low to this high, guess what? It basically tells you it was going to go right up there. Measured move, measured move. Really cool freaking stuff. All right. On to the next chart here. Nothing really going on Ethereum. So we're still in a bullish consolidation phase on Ethereum. Notice how much consolidation it needs. The bigger the move, the more consolidation. If it's a small move, it might only need a little bit of consolidation. But again, just a good little tidbit, a little tip there to have. But still, as long as it holds above this level, this white trend line, it remains bullish. Next up, gold, guys. Let's flip over to the gold chart. Gold is getting a small bounce today. There's nothing really new on gold. It's been a lot of chop here. So we have the down move and then sideways chop. I've been using this low of this big red candle as my line here to know if it breaks down, a daily close here would likely send it down here. If it holds here, it's still bearish, but it opens the door to maybe retesting here and maybe negating. But really, this line here, I think it's around $2,325. Any daily close below that likely sees that next wave of selling in gold. Again, just a reminder, whatever the chart is, yes, it's bearish right now, so I call it like it is, but I'm mid to long term still bullish on gold. I still think it's going up way, way higher.
Kathy Wood's ARK Invest has acquired over 32,000 Reddit shares and sold 50 ARK ETF, reflecting a strategic shift in its portfolio. In 72 hours, 3 Bitcoin mining pools discovered 69% of 436 blocks mined. Foundry USA and Antpool dominate with 55.5% of the hash rate. U.S. Spot Bitcoin Exchange-Traded Funds, ETF, saw their second largest day of inflows since their launch in January. The inflows totaled approximately $886.6 million, with Fidelity's FBTC leading, capturing $379 million.
This is the SPY 10-minute chart. It shows us what the pre-market is showing us, right? So basically yesterday we had this kind of very light volume day, basically as light as what we saw the day after Thanksgiving in 2023, which by the way was a half day, so it just shows you how light it's been. But here's your end of day level right here. The markets have gone gently sideways, picking up a little bit of velocity in the pre-market here going into the open. Now, the kicker here is we did get the ADP private sector numbers out. So I'm going to write them out. 152,000 jobs from the private sector came out. That's what the number was reported. Expectations were for 173,000. So it came in weaker than expected. Now, again, the way you look at this, so number one, markets have gently trended a little bit higher, but notice there wasn't a violent reaction in the S&P 500 in the futures. And basically what that tells us is that the number was weaker than expected, but it wasn't shocking, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, we only created, 50,000 jobs versus the 173,000 that were expected. So you just have to look at that and say, okay, in general, this is continuing the trend. Yesterday, we saw JOLTS come out at 10 a.m. That was basically 8 million jobs. We had expected about 8.4 million, so it was much weaker than expected. The market saw the 10-year yield come down. We're also seeing the 10-year yield come down again today based on the weaker data. Remember, yields generally, we're not seeing the same bang for your buck. A month ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, if this number had been weaker, the markets would have been up 1 to 2% today. Today, we're seeing maybe 0.5% gain. So it's a weakening trend of gains on the back of weaker economic data, as in my opinion, more and more people are starting to slowly realize the question is, can the Fed save us if we're slipping towards recession with the inflation numbers north of 3%? Okay, so that gives us a little summary of the economic data that was reported today. One other economic data, watch the 10 a.m. non-manufacturing PMI data. So 10 a.m. Eastern time today, non-manufacturing PMI. On Wednesday, no, it was on Monday, I believe, we got the PMI manufacturing data, which was weaker than expected, pretty shockingly weaker too, showing a contraction in the manufacturing sector. Today will be non-manufacturing, so we'll watch and see what that tells us. Either way, markets trending higher into the open. This is on the back of some of the positive earnings news yesterday. CrowdStrike is up decently, HPE up decently, and HPE specifically, and I'll flip to that chart as long as we're talking about them, you can see having a very good gain pre-market, but they basically said, hey, listen, data center for AI stuff is really, really good. And that positive commentary is also helping the semiconductors this morning move a little bit higher. So all in all, generally a positive vibe to today. You got the little bit of weaker data, but then the positive numbers out of HPE as well as CrowdStrike. And again, that's giving the market a positive vibe. Speaking of HPE, where are we looking at a potential resistance? So when I look at this daily chart, right, let's zoom out on the daily here. What do we see? So we see a general trend higher, right? So this is the daily chart now. And what we see is generally there's this upsloping kind of trend to it. So what I like to do is I like to use my parallels. And again, parallels will give me a level somewhere above when we connect it through these highs as well. So I'm going to do that right now with you guys. And we're going to do a parallel based on the trading view charts here. And we're going to stretch that right to these lows. Notice how they all align. So again, this is how I do. I'm literally doing this before your eyes, doing this charting to figure out my level. I'm going to then raise it up to these two parallels up here, or these two pivot points. So notice again, from here to here, and it connects right through here, 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 and here. So the concept here would be is that in theory, and it's always in theory, it's technical analysis, so it's probability based, is that if price is going to move up, this level up here, which we can't see right now, but I'll scroll it down just a little bit, that would be the resistance point.
Coinbase has introduced smart wallets, aimed at easing the entry into blockchain activities by eliminating complex processes and high fees associated with traditional crypto wallets. This new offering seeks to onboard over 1 billion users through simplified, gasless transactions and multi-chain support. Bitcoin has climbed past $70,000 and is now the world's 9th largest asset by market capitalization, among many publicly traded companies in precious metals. Despite overtaking silver's market value in March, the leading cryptocurrency must reach $84,740 per coin to match silver's current $1.67 trillion valuation. Between 72% and 80% of Africa's total artisanal gold production is often undeclared for export, a new study has found. A significant portion of this gold is said to often end up in major gold importing countries, such as the United Arab Emirates. According to a new study by Scholz and Hummel, Switzerland has a unique opportunity to positively influence the global gold trade. Veteran trader Peter Brandt has emphasized the symmetry in Bitcoin bull market cycles, suggesting the next peak may occur in late August or early September 2025, with the price of Bitcoin potentially reaching $150,000. However, Brandt remains cautious, assigning a 25% probability that the cryptocurrency has already peaked this cycle. A federal court in Australia has relieved the crypto firm Block Earner from paying a penalty for breaching the financial services law when it offered the Earner product. According to the ruling, Block Earner acted honestly and not carelessly, hence it should not be made to pay a pecuniary penalty. The federal court judge criticized the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, ASIC, for publishing a press release that exhibited a tendency to mislead. The digital yuan app, which services users of the Chinese CBDC, has dropped the pilot label from its name without any announcement, prompting speculation about an upcoming move to production stages. While local Chinese news outlets explained that this change had to do with app requirements, some expect this might be a step before its generalized implementation. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.